Hello students, a very good morning. So students, in last class we were discussing our chapter that was mechanical properties of solid. So that we have discussed and we have covered now our chapter, whole of the chapter. So and the application of Bernoulli theorem as I have discussed in the class. So that's why the only one topic that we have discussed in the class, not in the video. So here today let's start to discuss our next chapter, and that is thermal properties of solid. So in the case of thermal properties of solid, what we will discuss first, let's see that here thermal means you are going to talk about the thermal energy, that is heat or temperature. So here all the properties that we will discuss, or all the phenomena that we will discuss, that will be related to the heat or temperature. So here means all these things will be related to temperature, overall this one, and what kind of effect we will see by using temperature, what kind of effect it is showing to solid, what kind of effect it is showing to fluids, all we will see. Means all matter phase, how it is affected by temperature or heat. So one by one we will start to see the first topic here, as this whole section, whole chapter is depending on the topic heat and temperature. So let's start our chapter with the discussion on heat first. After that we will see the temperature. So first of all, heat is what? So heat is the energy, that is producing some sensation of warmness or coldness. So it means that we can feel hotness, or we can feel warmth due to the energy that is present, and this is called now heat here. Another way you can define heat, as you know, all the molecules that are possessing three types of motions. The first motion is translational motion, second one is rotational motion, and third is vibrational motion. So due to all type of motion, always molecules are doing kinetic energy, they are possessing kinetic energy, and that kinetic energy is converting into the form of heat. So that's why we can say now heat is the total thermal energy, because the energy that is converted by kinetic energy into heat, that is called thermal energy. So heat is simply the total thermal energy of the body, that is the sum of the kinetic energies of the individual molecules of the body due to translational, vibrational and rotational motion of the molecules. Another thing is there, heat, you will see, this is very broad topic. Heat is also associated with the configuration and random motion of the atoms or molecules. So as molecules that are behaving just like the gases, and they are moving randomly, and also they are the molecules, they are possessing some configuration. So due to that, every molecule has some internal energy. So that internal energy is also a form of heat. So we can define heat now as in terms of internal energy, and that is heat is a part of internal energy which is transferred from one body to another body if there is temperature difference between that two bodies. Now another you can say definition here, that is heat is a form of energy that flows from higher temperature to lower temperature. So simple, we can see now heat and temperature, both quantities are related to each other. So heat is a form of energy that is transferred from higher temperature to lower temperature, or it is also a part of internal energy that is transferred. It is also just behaving just like the total thermal energy due to all kinetic motions. So this is now, we can say simple, heat is a sensation, or that is energy that gives us sensation of warmness, or we can understand thermal energy ka internal energy, or heat variation means energy transfer whenever there is temperature difference. So this is now the first important factor. Now after this one, if you will see unit of heat, so you know already unit heat as this is a form of energy. So energy units we can use for the measurement of heat, like heat is measured in joule in SI unit. In CGS system we are measuring heat in calorie. So calorie, if you have to define, that is amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram water by 1 degree Celsius, and 1 gram water we are using the temperature to increase, that is 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius. Sorry. Now reason is that why we are using this 15 degrees Celsius as to define the calorie. Reason is that if you will see now specific heat or heat capacity of water, so that is 1 calorie per gram per degree Celsius at 15 degrees Celsius. So that's why in definition we have used that one. Now after this, if you will see the conversion of mechanical work into heat. So as mechanical work means kinetic energy, if we kinetic works we are doing and that is converted into heat, so that is given by Z is equal to W upon Q. So we can see now the mechanical work is related by the heat by quantity Z, that is called joule. So 1 calorie, if you will see, that is equal to from here that 4.186 joule or 4.2 joule. Now after the discussion on heat, the second topic we have, that is the topic of temperature. So let's see now what is temperature first. So definition of temperature in more precise manner, student, we will discuss in thermodynamics, and that is your chapter number 12. So in 12 number of chapter we will discuss that thing by Zeroth law of thermodynamics. So here, but some idea about the temperature we will see. So idea about the temperature is that now as heat is giving us the sensation of warmness and coldness, now temperature measures how much cold or water is anything. It means it is degree of hotness or coldness. So and now if we have to measure the temperature, how can we measure it? So we are using devices that is called thermometer. And thermometer, if you will see, that is a device that uses any property that changes sufficiently with temperature. Like the property we can use to construct or to manufacture thermometers, that is the first property you can use, because these all properties are varying sufficiently with temperature. The first one, variation of volume of liquid with temperature. So as volume of liquid is varying sufficiently with temperature, we can use this property. Second property you can use variation of pressure or volume of gas with temperature. They are also varying with temperature. The third one, variation of resistance of or electrical resistance of metal with temperature. So as we know, electrical resistance of metal also increases with temperature, so that's why we can use that property also. The fourth one, you can use the variation of thermo EMF with temperature in thermocouple. So the as thermo EMF that is produced in thermocouple, that variation is also very significant with temperature, so we can use that one also. Now if you will see, number of thermometers we have manufactured up to now, like by name mercury thermometer, ideal gas thermometer, electrical resistance thermometer, and now thermocouple thermometer or radiation thermometer, that is also called by pyrometer. So these are all thermometers that we are using in our life, and we have used all these properties to manufacture this one. Now next one, if you thermometer you will see, so how after constructing thermometers we calibrate thermometer. So calibration of thermometer is done by using the temperature scale. So we are using a suitable temperature scale so that we can measure temperature easily by thermometers. And for any temperature scale standard or for any standard temperature scale for measurement of temperature, two fixed reference point we are using, and we can use the ice point and steam point of water, or also we are calling it freezing point and boiling point. So we are using the two reference point as freezing point and boiling point of water. So let's see now how many scales we are using to measure temperature. So the first scale that we are using, that is Celsius scale, or we are also calling it centigrade scale. So Celsius temperature scale. So let's see now what is Celsius temperature scale. So Celsius or centigrade temperature scale, first this was designed by the scientist Celsius in 1741. And if you will see in this temperature scale, the two reference point, that is the freezing point, that is 0 degree Celsius. So here freezing point for this scale, this is now 0 degree Celsius, and the boiling point, that is 100 degree Celsius for water. Now as we can see, the scale is started from 0 degrees Celsius to and it is going to the or ended to at 100 degrees Celsius. So we can see division on our scale, that is here on Celsius scale divisions, that is 100. So 100 divisions on the scale that we are seeing now. Now this is our first scale that we are using. Now the second scale that we are using to measure temperature, that is Fahrenheit scale. So the second one, that is Fahrenheit temperature scale or Fahrenheit scale you can write. So in Fahrenheit scale now, if you will see, this scale was designed by the Fahrenheit in 1770. It was designed before even the Celsius. And now the freezing point in the case of Fahrenheit scale that we are using as just now I have written in the same way I am writing this one. The freezing point here we are using, that is 32 degree Fahrenheit. So degree Fahrenheit is used as the unit of temperature to measure it in case of this scale, and in case of Celsius scale we are using degree centigrade or degree Celsius as the unit. Now the boiling point, if you will see for this scale, that is 180 degree Fahrenheit. So this is now the freezing point of the water in Fahrenheit scale, and this is boiling point of the water. So I think sorry for this one, 212 it should be 212 degree Fahrenheit. Now the division on the scale, if you will see, so this division is equal to 180. So here it means that on the scale 180 divisions we are getting in the case of Fahrenheit scale, and the two freezing and boiling point we can get now at these two temperature scale. After that the third here temperature scale that we have, or before that third temperature scale, if you have to relate these two scales, because whenever the standard scale we are measuring, we can convert that in standard scale into one another easily. So we can convert also that these two temperature scales by the formula, that is this is Tc is temperature in degree Celsius minus 0, that is minus freezing point, upon number of division. This should be equal to temperature in Fahrenheit minus its here freezing point, that is 32 divided by division on this. So this is the relationship between this degree Celsius scale and the Fahrenheit scale. After this one, we can also plot a graph to represent the temperature in both of the scales, in Fahrenheit scale and in this scale also. So let's see now the graph for that one. So if we will plot graph, then this is on this one, suppose we are taking temperature in degree Celsius, on this one we are taking temperature in degree Fahrenheit, means this is the on this one Fahrenheit scale, on this one we have taken the Celsius scale. So these scales now we have used. After this one, if you will plot the graph, then you know the scale for Fahrenheit scale, the freezing point that is at 32 degree Fahrenheit and the boiling point that is 212 degree Fahrenheit. So we can start this graph from here. Now as for the Celsius scale, the freezing point at 0, so this is already 0 and it is at 100, so we can write, suppose this is now the 100 point here. So we can see now the graph that is varying from here to here. This graph started from 0, it is going to 100 now. So this is, you can see, this is our 100 degree Celsius and this is now 0 here from. So 0 degree Celsius to 100 degree Celsius, the temperature is varying in degree Celsius, and in this way it is varying in this one. So you can see now this one, this is delta Tc. So delta Tc that is difference in temperature in this scale, that is equal to 100 degree Celsius, and this is you can write delta Tf. So this is 180 degree Fahrenheit from here. So this is the graph between these two scales that are relating these two. So that is, I think, clear now. Let's see now the third kind of scale that we are using, and that is called standard scale or absolute scale. So absolute scale, why we are using for this one? So first of all, this kind of scale, absolute scale, was designed by Lord Kelvin, and he has designed it by using even the concept of Celsius scale. So if you will start to plot now a graph for the Celsius scale with the variation in pressure. So we can see now with pressure as temperature for the water or for the liquid that is varying. So you can just start to plot the graph for that one, and whenever we will plot the graph, then this is temperature and this is now pressure. So we have seen that the pressure that becomes 0 for the any of the liquid that is at a temperature that is equal to 273.15 degrees Celsius, and we can see this kind of graph for this one. So he has plotted a graph against these two, and he has find out a very important conclusion. The pressure of the system that becomes 0, or variation in gases that becomes 0 also. If for the gases you can use, so that becomes 0 at 273.15 degrees Celsius. It means that, and if below this one we will decrease the temperature, then that time the velocity volume of the system that will become negative. So if the volume will become negative, then that is not possible. Negative volume is not possible, means we can say this is minimum possible temperature of the system. So he called this minimum possible temperature as 0 degree Kelvin. So this is now known as 0 Kelvin temperature. So he has started his scale from 0 Kelvin, minimum possible temperature, and he has also used 100 divisions. So if you will use 100 division, then this will start from 0 Kelvin to 100 Kelvin, or in degree Celsius scale, if you will see, this is starting from 273.15 degrees Celsius to 373.15. For our convenience in calculations, we are using 273 degrees Celsius to 373 degrees Celsius, this scale now. So if you will write now the relationship between the third scale, that is absolute temperature scale or Kelvin temperature scale. Sorry, this is the third one. So this is, first of all, its freezing point is what? That is 0 Kelvin or 273.15 degree Celsius, and its boiling point is 100 Kelvin, and that is now 373.15 degrees Celsius. So this is now the for this scale, and division you can see that is also 100 here. So we can convert now the Kelvin scale into Celsius scale by adding the temperature. If this is in degrees Celsius, we can add 273.15 degrees Celsius in this one to convert it into the Kelvin scale now. Now, as three types of scale we have seen, these are three scales we are using broadly in our daily life also. All these three scales we are using, and they are known as standard temperature scale because they have used same reference point. We can convert easily one into another, so that's why they are all acceptable. Now we will see the relationship for all three scales, how they are related to each other. So two of them first we have seen already, so you can now use the third one also. So if you will see from starting, so this was Tc minus 0 freezing point upon division. Again this was Tf minus 32 upon division, that is 180. Now this is Tk minus its freezing point is 273.15 upon 100. So you can use now these relationships to convert one of the temperature into another easily. So I think students, up to now the idea about the heat and temperature that you have got, and that is all clear. So let's discuss now the next topic, that is the expansion in solids. So expansion in solids, whenever they will get heated. So whenever we will heat the solid, we are seeing solid starts to expand along its length, along the area, along the volume. So this is all we are going to study here. How many types of expansions we will see in solid? The first type of expansion we will see, that is along the length. So let's see now the next topic, that is thermal expansion. So now next in thermal expansion, just now I am saying this is the expansions of solid on heating, and we will see this is of three types. One by one all types we will discuss. So I will start with the first one, that is called linear expansion. So linear expansion is what? This is the increment in length on heating. So whenever we are heating a solid, it starts to increase by its length. Then that type of expansion in the solids is known as linear expansion. So to understand it experimentally, we are taking a rod that has length L. Now we are starting to change the temperature. Suppose its length is L, that is at temperature T already, temperature will be something. But if we will start to change the temperature by delta T, then we have seen the length, the variation in length, that is delta L. And experimentally we can see this delta L. First of all, it is depending on the original length, how much length it has, it is depending on that one. The second quantity on which it is depending on, that is the change in temperature. So we can see now this change in length or the expansion in the length, that is depending on two factors, that is L and delta T. And if you will remove the proportionality constant, so constants we are obtaining, that is alpha. So this is alpha L delta T, where this alpha is known as temperature coefficient of linear expansion. So alpha can be calculated as delta L upon L delta T from here. So if change in length we know, temperature change we know, and original length we know, then we can calculate alpha, and this is now the temperature coefficient of linear expansion. So alpha, if you will see, its value depends on the nature of material. So if material's nature will change, then definitely it will change automatically. And if you will see near about the expansion is maximum for the aluminium, it is obtained, alpha is near about 2.5 for aluminium, and for bronze it is near about 1.8. Similarly for silver iron also we will have some great expansions while it will be heated. The second type of now expansion, if we will see, so that is now area expansion. So let's see now the second type of expansion while the solids get heated, that is called area expansion. So suppose now if we have some of the body that has surface area S. So if this is the body that has surface area S, now when we start to change the temperature, means increase the temperature, we will start to heat. So we have seen there is the change in its surface area on heating. So this kind of expansion is known as area expansion. And we have seen now this change in surface area, that is again depending on the factor, that is delta S is first depending on its original surface area, and it is depending on the temperature that we have changed now to increase its surface area. So again we can now write here from delta S, that will be equal directly proportional to S delta T, and if the proportionality you will remove, so here it will be get at beta S delta T. So we can calculate now beta from here. So beta is equal to delta S upon S delta T. This beta is now known as temperature coefficient of area expansion. We are knowing this one. Now if you will see this beta, that is depends on the nature of the again material. Now students, the third type of expansion, if you will see, that is called volume expansion. Means also the solid expanded by its volume. So if we will start to heat any solid, and if its volume is changing with heating temperature, so that is called volume expansion. And now in the same way, if delta V is the change in volume and delta T temperature we are changing, so its volume is depending on its original volume and then change in temperature. You can now write down here this equation, and also you can convert this whole expression as one of the constant you will get, that is, now this constant is known as coefficient of volume expansion from here. Sorry for that, volume expansion, and this is also depending on the value of the or the nature of the material. So students, today we have discussed about the chapter in introductory idea about heat and temperature. Then we have discussed expansion in solids. That is all clear because solid can be expanded by three ways only, by the length, area and volume. That all expansion we have seen. In next class we will see the relationship between alpha, beta and gamma. So for today let's end our class here with this one. So thank you for today, students.